Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought it would be cool to do a DIY video because it's been a little while since I've put one on my channel. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank today's sponsor, which are my friends over at Cricut. Cricut makes smart cutting machines that are super easy to use and basically can design and personalize anything that you want. I'm talking shirts, clothing, decals, hats, cards, like you name it, you can basically make it with one of these machines. And the cool thing is that they have an app that you can use either on your phone or your laptop. You're gonna see in this video, I like using it on my laptop just because it's so easy to use and to customize. Even though I've filmed a ton of DIY videos, I've had no experience using a machine like this, but it was super easy to use. So that brings me to today's video. Basically, I'm back in New York and I kind of want to take you guys through the apartment and show you some of the projects that I worked on for this video. So first off, I'm going to talk about the space behind me, which is the hallway entry area. And I know this would not be a very important talking point for anyone else, but when you're in a studio in New York, every little space really counts. So essentially we have a table there that we're starting to record a podcast on, which I'll leave a link to that down below. And essentially, even though we've been here for about 6 months, there are already things that I'm like kind of over and wanted to change. The first one being that this had a blue door that just didn't really go. Honestly, I felt guilty about buying the paint and just like tried to make it work, but I wanted to redo this area for the video. And I wanted to use my Cricut machine to make some art for that wall, which has been like a growing masterpiece of Rob and I putting together different ideas and just kind of combining our tastes onto that wall. The color I'm going for, it's like a wild chartreuse. I'm so into greens lately, it's ridiculous. So I just love that. Now we're gonna let it dry and we're gonna move on to the bathroom, which really needs a redo. One of the first things that I did in this apartment was actually decorate the bathroom. I think that's because I'm like self-competitive and it's honestly one of the easiest rooms to like knock out and decorate first. But then it's like the one I get tired of the most. And honestly, the bathroom was kind of bumming me out. The first thing that needed to go was the rug. I don't know what it is about a pre-war building, but these buildings are super old, they get dusty, and the floors get so freaking gross. So the rug had to go. I flipped it for this cool blue butt rug. That sounds so weird, but it's cheeky and I like it. The next thing I wanted to do was change out the hardware in the bathroom. It just has one of these like basic clunky toilet paper holders and I just wanted to kind of one-up it, make it cool. So I found this really cool chain holder and I put that there instead. Now we're gonna move on to some of my Cricut projects. I'm using the Cricut Explore 3. This is such a cool machine. They have an even like higher level one that does like different materials like leathers and like wood, really intense materials. But for me, I felt like this was the right choice. The first thing I did was I went into the design space and just created an account. This is so easy to use. Basically, I went from there and I hit new project and I went to images and I bookmarked a bunch that I thought were really cute, which I will have saved to my design space if you guys want to check it out. I wanted to do a tulip kind of like mural slash like fake wallpaper on the wall behind my bed because it's been so boring and sad looking. So I found this tulip and then I just wanted to make it really simple. Green stems, red tulip heads, go from there. So this will be saved in my design space if you guys want to do anything similar, selecting the kind of material that I'm using. And then the cool thing about the Cricut machine is that it will basically take your material, it'll measure it for you to make sure that you have enough material to do your project. From there, after it measures, you just press play. It cuts so fast, you guys, it's ridiculous. I basically put like these really big designs in it and I swear like under a minute, it was already done. Now I'm gonna take the weeding tool and that's just to kind of start peeling the vinyl back. I like to use my hands as much as possible just because I've always liked doing that with different craft projects. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut the tulips down to a smaller size. And then you're gonna take the transfer tape. The transfer tape is magic and it's really something you have to use to like fully appreciate. But essentially it allows you to take your decal and move it from one material to the other. So you can take it off of the Cricut paper and move it onto something like your wall. This is easiest to do if you cut them into smaller pieces. So I'm just cutting them as small as possible, putting the tape over top and then transferring them to the wall. Cricut also has these little like tool kits that you can kind of start out with. Like they have like the scraper tools so you can make sure that you're applying everything nice and flat and you don't get those annoying bumps that you see like on a phone case or something, you know, like when you put a screen protector on, it drives me crazy. So you just want to be patient with the process. I swear my first few were like Some of them were a little wonky looking, but by like the 5th one, I was on a roll and I was doing it so quickly. I even got my boyfriend to help me with some of them, and he was like moving at lightning speed, and it was great. So I put some tulips on the wall that is behind my bed. I applied the decals to the wall, and that was it. So when I got the Cricut machine, I knew one thing I wanted to do was make coasters. I basically saw this was like a project idea that they actually had in the app, and I thought it was so cool. So for this project, I thought it would be cool to do like cowboy boots, because I saw this art print that was like yin yang cowboy boots with basically inverted colors. So I grabbed 2 colors that look kind of similar, and basically following the same process as the tulips, I loaded the cowboy boot design into my design space, and then I just cut it out with the Cricut. And basically all I had to do was run each design twice, and that way you have enough material to kind of invert the designs. And then I used the transfer tape to pick the designs up. And you'll notice here that one of the like little small pieces actually didn't make it. Don't worry about this. Like for a second I was like, oh my God, do I need to start over? Absolutely not. You can just pick it up with like a pair of pliers and place it on carefully and go from there. So don't stress it if you don't get it right the first time. Like I said, this is super easy to use, but like if you're human like me, which I hope you are, otherwise you're a robot watching this, you might make some mistakes, so just be patient with it. I like this so much that I actually made a print with it as well, and I just put it up on the gallery wall, and I thought it turned out super cool. Finally, I wanted to do a little decor piece on the wall, and I used my Cricut machine to make this. And I found this like kind of wavy design that kind of reminded me of like a big splat from like my childhood TV watching. Do you remember when like kids used to get slimed? That's what it makes me think of. Basically what I like to use is just my fingers. Like for small, really intricate stuff, I use the weeding tool, but for bigger projects, I can actually just peel it out with my fingers, and it's super easy. So I just peeled back that middle piece, and you're gonna see there's like a fun, like kind of wavy border around it. And that's what I used. And this was like the most freehand project I did. Essentially, I just used my fingers to kind of like place it over the wall and sort of bend it where I wanted to, and then cut little pieces where I saw fit. You can take your vinyl material and kind of work it with your hands, which I don't see as many people do with the Cricut device, and I think it's just a really cool way to get very experimental. So I just kind of worked it over the wall, and I took it over like the switch plate, which my building is super old, the switch plates are super ugly, and I just thought this kind of wavy design would be fun, and I even took it up over on top of like this artwork that I have hanging, and I just thought it looked super sick. As that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing kind of a sneak peek of the apartment and just a couple new ideas. I'm gonna be coming back with an apartment tour super soon, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you again to my friends at Cricut for sponsoring this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.